Okay. My allergies have been bothering me like crazy this weekend, so I apologize in advance for any coughing or anything like that um, through this. But we talked a little bit the other day about, kind of expressing what I like about CardTrader and their inventory system. I mean, there's things that I believe could be improved upon for sure, and I'll kind of go over those things a little bit. Right now, I've got it filtered by uncommon specifically for Pokemon, um, and that's kind of based on how you filter it down for like how you can break it down by rarity and stuff like that. So this is really nice because we do rarity based minimum pricing, which I don't think is super uncommon. I haven't interacted with a ton of other businesses on how they do their minimums, but I don't think that this is necessarily obscure. So I've got it filtered by uncommon right now. So for anything that is um, over the minimum in the preset trend price, and on CardTrader, what I mean by preset trend price is when we go in here, when we go to edit our current listing, they've got their preset trend price right here. And so we typically go based off of this, and it changes regularly. So once in a while we'll go through, and especially like the first couple pages, like the higher value stuff in those categories, we'll go through and reprice it. And it's as easy as that. I just click on the price, which I know you guys have something similar over at Crystal, but it's not as seamless per se. Like the way that things are listed out. Um, it kind of hovers over. You would think that having to click edit, that extra step, being worse, but it helps kind of differentiate, and the overall, like the wait times are not bad. I mean, it's very easy to come in here and just click that preset trend whenever we're doing that repricing, and then just hit sell again. So that's not necessarily long term, uh, in terms of how we're gonna price, but for now, it makes it really easy for us to get our inventory fixed, and it puts us kind of right in the middle, and we can do some of our auto pricer settings based off of either CardTrader Zero market or just whole market. So I don't I don't currently have anything set just because I just want to get back to normal operations right now, but I would basically be able to have all these reprice every single day and then reduce by a certain amount until the end of the day and then reprice back to the minimums or whatever it would be. So with this, I've got it by uncommon currently. So all I got to do is go to the last page, and I was kind of in the middle of doing some stuff. That's why I decided to finally record. So with this, I can just click on here, copy in my 25 cents, and sell, and I can just keep repeating that. Granted, this would be a lot faster on CSV. And we took a quick peek, excuse me, at CSV with CardTrader, and it didn't seem like it's going to be as seamless as we would like it to be. So that's why we're spending the time doing this right now. But when we first switched over, I forgot that I had an auto pricer set from before we did the sync with Crystal. And everything kept auto pricing back after we made the changes. I was wondering what was going on. Um, but once this is done, essentially the plan is to get this pushed back over to Crystal, so that we can get the sync reestablished. But I'm not gonna sit here and do the whole thing, but just to give you an idea of like how fast that is for me, and then well, I guess I'll finish the page here so I can show you. Because then all I have to do, rather than going to like page 8 from here, I'll just refresh page 9, and now all of the bottom ones are going to be on page 9 still. So I can just go rip through, very quickly do this until we hit 25-cent minimums. And then realistically, we would still be going through the ones in the 25-cent category. Let me see if I can find some. Because, and this is where it's kind of repetitive, but necessary. Because there are some that might have been set to 25 cents previously that might be more than that. Let's see. Grabber, for instance. I mean, it's set to 23 cents right now. See, it's a 38 cents preset trend. And see, like, my guys aren't necessarily going to know that off the top of their head, right? So that's just something that I'm kind of keeping track of, the cards that are used in rotation right now. I don't know if Beach Court is or not, but so like we're kind of approaching that. But the amount of effort that goes into repricing, and this is just my uncommons, right? So if I unfilter this, I mean, this isn't even, this is probably less than 20% of our inventory. We've got 36,000. I think we're approaching 1 million. But I mean, unique items, we got almost 3,000, about 15,000 in total. This is just English. I haven't even started with Japanese yet. Like, we have Japanese, and we have Flesh and Blood, we have Lorcana, we have Magic, we have some of the Weiss Schwartz, different variations, some of the Bushiroad. There's a lot. There's a lot. So that's in terms of like how it's kind of different. Being able to filter by the rarities easily, and then being able to filter by reverse as well, because we do pricing based off of reverse holo. Our minimum is 50 cents for reverses. So, we just kind of keep it at that. And this is mostly right now to reduce sales volume, because we can't keep up with, it's essentially a nonstop downward plunge into nothing that we were on previously. So we've priced everything to only move if somebody really wants it. And I'm glad that I saw this, because that's one of the ones that sold. That should not be on here because we don't have it anymore. And there's going to be quite a few like that. We're still catching some, which is unfortunate. We corrected it in a CSV that was meant for Crystal, but because we keep having all these different like pushes, that was why we decided to unsync. So this is what's good about CardTrader. I like how the system interacts. If I wanted to then go take a look at some additional information, click on the card. This is similar to the I forget what it was called in the video, but like dashboard or something along those lines. And we're not even like the highest, right? And we priced at the preset trend. We're right here in the middle. So I wouldn't even say that's the middle. That's, top 10. But it's, because we're zero, CardTrader 0. So it makes it easier. But then they have the sell option, right? And I could actually even increase my price from where we're at currently, because we're up from that, or up from where we were today. But having, what you guys have in place is nice. Don't get me wrong. Because, you can kind of do volume a little bit easier, but the interface itself is not as nice as this. Because, like, for instance, if I'm listing a moderately played version of this, I do have to like be in here and click moderately played, and choose the language and whether or not it's reverse holo or first edition. Um, but it's more easily customizable, like, descriptions, tags, being able to add the photo. You can do play sets in one fell swoop, which is nice. I don't really do play sets right now, but eventually we will be. And the reason we don't do play sets right now is just because of like the how volatile the market is. It would, like, in one fell swoop we could, lose out on a lot of capital that we absolutely need right now. So I mean, people could still buy 4 from us, but it's just not going to be like a playset discount type thing. So this looks a lot like what you guys are working on, except for the fact that within that dashboard for that specific card, which looks amazing already, having the ability to sell based off of the conditions and things like that, like that that's what sets this apart right now. We normally just do conditions like at a time. So we'll do only near mint, and then we'll do, the slightly played or lightly played, moderately played. We'll do them in like chunks instead of, halfway through we found this slightly played card. Let's list it as slightly played. That way, there's less margin for error. But being able to kind of pick and choose these things instead of having 5 lines dedicated to, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Having 5 lines dedicated to, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about already, but for the sake of clarity, so let's say Pokemon, because it's also a little bit more difficult. Not that it's hard or impossible or anything like that, but it's more difficult to use this. Like I should be able to just toggle between my inventory versus like the catalog instead of having to do this and then do like minimum quantity 1, and then that's probably fine there, and then we hit search, right, and then it brings up the stuff that I have in stock. And then there's not really a good way to filter this, right? Like I can use these, right? But having to switch pages, it's not, like I said, it's not hard. It's not like much. It's just, like category filters. I don't necessarily find this useful while I'm in here, while I'm doing inventory, because if I'm gonna be putting that stuff in here anyway, then it kind of loses its purpose. So there's just a lot of stuff in one place that really doesn't need to be in the same interface, in my opinion. So these are nice. I would like to see probably more like universal between, like, universal terms between the different, like, CardTrader and you guys and card market. I know I'll never get that. But secret, ultra rare, secret rare, those are basically, those are supposed to essentially be the same thing. Promotional versus like promo, rare foil versus rare hollow foil. Hollow rare is rare foil. So like, what constitutes what? Shiny hollow rare versus shiny rare, and where does that info data come from? If that's official Pokemon, or if that's just over the years, through attrition of, different CSVs, different catalogs and stuff like that. That's how it's been portrayed. you know, kind of differentiating between what's what. I mean, I could very easily click on it and be like, all right, what's considered in this category? But, you know, then I have to create like a log for my employees of, you know, if you've got this set, this set, this set, it's going to be shiny hollow rare versus shiny rare, if that makes sense. Um, which is it's a lot. And then the condition variants and stuff like that, like having to click and then click and then click and click and click. It's just it's a lot. It's overwhelming to my guys because, you know, first day they're in here and they're like, I don't know what I'm looking at. So, there's a big difference between this, and there's a lot of useful tools here. Don't get me wrong, but there's a huge difference between this and this. And even like if I were to go back to my items, you know, just to like, this is my inventory page, right? There's a big difference between the two in terms of usability. Anybody can click edit, and if I tell them, hey, preset trend, or if the preset trend is less than this amount per rarity, which I have a sheet here for them on the desk, if it's less than this amount for this rarity, then do the minimum, and then they just hit sell. And then they worry about the condition based on, you know, what day it is. Basically, is like, not saying we actually do it like this, but Tuesday is slightly played day. And then, you know, whatever the properties are. Like, if you see it's reverse hollow, then make sure you click reverse before you know, you hit sell. So that's easier for the average person. And that's kind of key. Being able to train up our guys easier to use the system that's in place is ultimately what could set you guys apart. Because I know I'm not the only one, you know, that feels that way. And especially with the integration of, you know, some of the scan capabilities. I don't know what the plans are with Sort Swift, but you know, they're basically already done. Live scanning is just about done. You can already do like the image uploading and everything like that. So finding a way to be able to integrate with them would be huge. Where, you know, if I could essentially just do my scan and click a button that says push to crystal, that would change everything. I know we can set categories and, you know, what our pricing looks like, that what our buy lists are and everything like that, but what I've seen so far is if this is too groggy, like, I don't even have time for the other stuff. I don't have time to set a buy list. I don't have time to, you know, do. And on top of that, you mentioned the batch updating. I don't think batch updates is active right now. Or maybe this is just for maintenance purposes to inventory. I don't know. But mass import for catalog stuff. There's just a lot. You know, I should just be able to, you know, like in products. You know, like this, like I should just be able to be like, I want to sell Yu-Gi-Oh! This, that, the other thing. If we need to do additional work when a new set releases, that's fine. But that should be a separate. That shouldn't be like. This just feels like it's too much. And that's not me trying to be like a jerk about it. That's just, you know, I know that it's gonna be that much. Like if I'm like, ugh, there's a lot here. My guys are gonna be drooling at the mouth breathing the whole time they're trying to figure this out. You know, like there's just a lot. You know, we should. Granted, I'm the type of person that likes to have a whole catalog available, so that if I get a random Anima Tactics, or I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. Austin Powers CCG card, in a bulk box or something like that. Like, I want to be able to list it, right? Um, and it seems like you guys are kind of right around the corner from like kind of simplifying that a little bit, and it looks better in editor overall, like the catalog. But I don't know if, I guess I'm confused from the video, because from the video it looked like this is getting improved, which doesn't really make sense to me. If you guys have, oh, did I just turn on my MacBook by accident? I think I did. Oh, there we go. Okay. I have the Bluetooth keyboard paired to both, so. All right, let's do Pokemon again real quick here. Well, actually, I don't even need to, because I don't have anything else in stock. So just total quantity 1, and then, so, like, manage. So you got all of this, right? But, like, if I wanted to list, like, a lightly played, having to, let's say, the Absol EX, like, having to click this, and then having to go through all of this stuff versus, like, doing it all and then, like, clicking this card is lightly played. Because you mentioned in the inventory video about it being like a call to the API immediately upon hitting save, which is nice, right? Because then, like, yeah, let's say I've got we've got reverse holo and uncommon, right? So I've got a reverse holo. I've got 3 of them that are near mint, and since I only do near mint, and like I only do specific conditions at a time, and that's just me, right? I understand that, like, not everybody does that. Sometimes they'll just go through all their cards and they'll do the thing. But the scanner also will be doing conditioning, so that'll save us from all of these headaches. So I may be concerned about something that shouldn't be an issue. But it would just be easy, like, not having this drop down, right? That's an action that I don't think necessarily has to. I don't know what kind of strain this puts on the system to have it drop down like this when you click manage. But if, I guess it's not much different than CardTraders in that regard. It just feels different. So, like, let me go back here. When I click on edit, okay, so that's manage. Look, we'll call that manage. I guess the difference is that it's all built into that. So if you're going to have something that pops down or pops out anyway, kind of including more options to make it more useful, because this, like, there is, there's space here that could be utilized. Maybe having, instead of, because he was having, like, the button for, like, save, adding the button for save to the end of each one of these. So if I am going to, for the stores that do this, like, where they're doing conditioning all at the same time, You know, like they've got 11 of this, 5 of this, 2 of this, and then it's like save, save, save. Or it just automatically saving after making the change realistically, which I think is what you meant by the call to API in that video. Pricing, I think, is a big one for me because I use CardTrader, and we talked a little bit, and you said that, you know, they should be providing the price data. That will be a big change for us because, like, let's say this Absol 164, 264. Let's see. So Absol. So preset trend is 19 cents, which is a big difference. I mean, all of my non-holo rares I price at 40 cents right now, again, just to reduce the overall output. So in terms of your pricing, your mid is probably the closest to what we use currently. But there's a vast difference between what their preset trend is and the, like, let's say market between you and TCG player, which is fine. There should be a difference in like market data, but we can't, because of that, we can't really use these because we'll either be, I mean, this works in this scenario because, I mean, we're going to price it at, you know, 40-cent minimum no matter what. The high, we would be, you know, the absolute highest probably on CardTrader. Let's take a look real quick. So 259. So that's actually kind of insane. Oh, it's reverse holo. So let's see. Holo, the highest holo is $1.29. Let me see. So 49 cents would put us, well, technically we're at 49 cents because we priced it at 40, and then their fees on top of it, which is another thing that is kind of interesting in terms of how this stuff is calculated. So if we're going based off of, let's say, that 49 cents high, then from there it's also going to be another 9-10 cents tacked on to the top of 59 cents, which I'm okay with being higher than others, but you know, some of those create like an interesting disparity that may prevent sales. So we're, I mean, obviously we're trying to find a middle ground that works for selling things, but doesn't, you know, screw us over like the last several thousand sales that we've had on here because of how everything was listed. So if I had to sum up the things that I like about CardTrader versus Crystal right now, which are the only two that I'm currently using, both are better than Shopify. Okay, so I'll come out straight from the gate from that, because I am eventually trying to get away from using Shopify altogether, and that's hopefully, you know, Crystal is the solution to that. But let me think. So pricing data, once that's available and easy to access and select and use, even if it's like, let's say instead of it being listed here, because I don't know if this is like clickable. No, it's not clickable like they have, which is fine. But instead of, you know, it being like a pop-up, maybe a drop down, maybe we select at the top what pricing we want to see, so we don't have all this additional pricing data that we don't need if we're just doing inventory. You know, this pricing data is useful on a dashboard, but not necessarily for, you know, or we set, you know, yeah. I mean, we can set our preset settings for TCG player, you know, in like channels or something like that. Like TCG player, I want to still match my CardTrader pricing. Or if like if you can do any, if this then that, like if what I normally use for my pricing is lower than market on that platform, then match that market on that platform, that sort of thing, right? Because obviously when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of cards, it's not exactly the easiest thing in the world to keep an eye on what your prices are. I mean, you know, there's certain things that we're keeping track of, but if this adventures discovery goes up, you know, 300% tomorrow, I'm not going to be tracking that. There's no reason to. You know, but then I sell out of all 5 of them at 21 cents when, you know, they could have sold for 65 cents a piece. Not that that's a big difference, but, you know, that's, at this point, we need every win we can get when it comes to generating capital. So, I mean, there's not a huge disparity between what we've got and what's here, but that's also because this is old data. So, like, all of this needs to be pulled out. This is pre unsync. So essentially we'll clear this out. We'll have CardTrader push, and then from there, we'll be able to sync. I don't know if we need to remove. I'm going to talk to Raphael about whether or not we need to remove our inventory from CardTrader again, or just sync price and quantities, because everything should be the same anyway. So I think that's it for now. I'm mildly distracted because a couple things came up while I was recording this that I have to take care of after this. So if I think of anything else, I'll push it over. I don't expect that you're gonna watch this whole thing, so I will probably let you know that, like, the last, what was it, last 7 minutes or so is probably the most relevant. But I'm also getting feedback from some other people as well. And then the sooner we get the sooner we get all the stuff that, you know, came out in those videos a month ago, the better, for sure, because I can't really use this right now, to be honest. I want to, but it's just not feasible to use. It doesn't, I mean, we're almost done with the repricing, which then we can do the sync, but then I'm still not necessarily benefiting from using the system. So the only thing that I would benefit from is then being able to focus on trying to get TCG players synced, but I'm hesitant to even do that right now because of the fact that we've had so many issues. The last thing I need is more issues. Like, I have to generate income at this point. I have to generate capital to keep this all moving. So, I do like that there's, like, the difference between add to inventory mode. Maybe just when this is clicked, like, there being a difference in it other than just when you just adding, you know, a different interface versus seeing what inventory you have. But anyway, that's my take on it. This was super long, so I apologize for that. I'm gonna try to cut these down moving forward. It's been a little while since I've kind of put my thoughts out there. I'm gonna start scripting these probably moving forward, but I just wanted to get this recorded because I haven't had much of an opportunity to to get it done. And I wanted to make sure that there was at least an account of some of the things that we're looking at, um, regarding this. So anyway, I will send this over to you guys, and like I said, the next round will be cleaned up quite a bit because this is just off the cuff, while I was in the moment recording. So cool, appreciate you.